My name is Sean Thomas, and I'm the author of Be More Today, a 40-day guide to a better version of you. As doctor of physical therapy, I've seen thousands of people do great things. They came to me with ailments, physical ailments, pain, issues, and they got through them, all because they decided in their mind they were going to do it. And I guarantee you, if you just trust the process and be persistent, you too can be the best version of you. Have you ever been out and about, traveling, running, and you're trying to figure out how to hold everything on you? Phone, keys, wallet, lip gloss, lip balm, your gels. I got to tell you, the best belt you can ever use is by one company, and that company's name is Spy Belt. Spy Belt makes an innovative running belt that solves the pocketless problem. Whatever small personal items, SPI, need to be toted during physical activity, you will hold it in your very discreet, expandable running belt with comfort and ease over any distance. And those are the words taken right from Kim Overton, CEO and founder and inventor of the Spy Belt product. Kim's a great friend of mine. She sponsors the Be More Today show, and we support all things that Kim does. So if you're looking for the best belt on the market, visit spybelt.com today and check out all their amazing belts. I wear them for all my runs, and I think they are the best. If you go on today and use the code Be More Today, you can get 10% off any of their merchandise. So check out spybelt.com, and let's continue to be more today with Spybelt. Run smart, run free, run with Spybelt. Don't let aches and pains hold you back from living your life. At Jack Physical Therapy, our experienced clinicians create a personalized treatment plan that fit each and every patient's needs uniquely. Whether it's recovering from an injury or enhancing your performance, we've got you covered. With over 150 locations throughout New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, there is sure to be a JAG Physical Therapy location near you. Visit jagpt.com and book an appointment today to get back the life you love. That's jagpt.com, jagpt.com.
Welcome to the Be More Today show. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our show today. Now, let's hear it from our host, Dr. Sean Thomas.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy again, Dr. Sean Thomas, back in the building with the Be More Today show. We are back in the building. And folks, it is great to be back in the country. I was in Tokyo, Japan, doing the Tokyo 2025 marathon out there, and it was a blast. Before I get into any of those things, Be More Today, as you know, is a movement. We've been doing this thing great for the last 6 years, now in our sixth season. So happy sixth anniversary to us. And we are here, being more alive in 2025. Again, Be More Today is a movement. You can find all you need at BeMoreToday.com. On that website for our more merch. My Be More Today books. I said books as in plural. That's right. Be More Today, a 40 guide to a better version of you, is on Amazon and on our Be More Today page. And of course, our new book, Project More, out now in the first month of sales, out and still very, very hot. If you want to get your copy of Project More right now. It's more challenges, more fitness, more health, more wellness. You will not be disappointed. And of course, our step challenge for the spring season starts on April 1st. Registration is open right now. And we are doing two things this year: our individual challenges, again, with prizes for the top three finishers, and our group challenge for those who want to be competitive in a group. So if you want to make your own group, part of a run club, part of a church group, whatever it is, go on BeMoreToday.com, click on the Steps to Greatness Challenge, sign up, sign your friends up, sign your mom, dad, cousins, sisters, whoever you want to sign up, and get ready to lose. Now you get ready to rock out with us. Again, that starts April 1st, 40 days, 10,000 steps per day for 40 days. That's the challenge that we put out to you. And for this spring season, we're going to combine the Steps to Greatness Challenge with our book, Project More. And I'll be going through every day of Project More, doing the workouts as well. Again, there are 40 workouts in there that you can join us for the journey as well. So it's going to be a fun time. Again, starting April 1st for the Steps to Greatness Challenge. Also kicking off our Project More journey for those who bought the book. You can still buy the book on my website, and it's also on Amazon. So go out there and check it out. And as always, we're on Facebook, and Instagram at BeMoreToday.show, at BeMoreToday.pt, and your boy here at Dr. Sean Thomas. We are again heard on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so please go on there and subscribe to the show. I greatly appreciate it. The show is now heard in 90 different countries, over 70,000 downloads. Again, thanks to your love and support. This show continues to grow and move and inspire others around the world. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate our monthly patrons for continuing to support the show, and our two big sponsors. Again, Spybelt. Spybelt is the best small person's running belt that you could have out there for all your items, from your phone to your keys to your goo to your hydration. Spy Belt is the belt that goes where you go. And again, Kim and her team do a great job of making a great product. So go out there and check out spybelt.com for your spy belt needs. And of course, the best PT place in the Northeast, Jag Physical Therapy. Thank you again so much for all your love and support, for always supporting this show. So this show is dedicated to the Tokyo Marathon. And I just got back from Tokyo on this past Friday, and jet lag is a real thing. I've never traveled this far across the world before. 14-hour flight to Tokyo, Japan to run the Tokyo Marathon. As you can see, I came back and not empty-handed, but I came back with a medal in hand, and that was the goal, to go out there and to crush Tokyo Marathon. And just a couple of thoughts on the Tokyo Marathon. I did this thing for the London Marathon last year, and I wanted to just give my little synopsis of the experience. Tokyo was my fifth world major, which means I'm one world major away from completing the Abbott 6 World Marathon journey. For those who don't know, there are 6 world marathons that are across the world. They're the big ones that everyone tries to get through. And they're now adding others to that 6 to become 9. Cape Town is one, Sydney, Australia is another one. And they're continuing to do this, but the major six have been the big ones we've been focusing on, right? Tokyo, which is one I just did, London, which I did last year, Berlin, which I did before that, New York, Chicago, and of course the infamous Boston, which is the last one on my list. So that's the goal now, to get into the Boston Marathon, one of the most competitive races to get into for a number of reasons. From even fundraising purposes, it's become very, very hard to get into Boston. But I do have my 5 stars down, and I want to just talk about the Tokyo experience, because for a number of runners, and even those who are traveling to Tokyo, it's a great, beautiful, beautiful city. So clean, a lot of rich history there, a lot of culture there. We had a great time, me and my family and our runners, Spartan Sunday Run Club, shout out to them. And shout out to Traveling Nice Experiences for getting us there and getting us back safely, and giving us some excursion ideas as well while we were there. Had a great time experiencing the culture of Tokyo. And again, just really scratched the surface, because we got there and we were there for a couple of days, and it took a while just to get acclimated to being 14 hours ahead of the world. Talk about Back to the Future, right? One of my favorite movies, traveling to the future. Literally, we left on a Thursday. We left on a Wednesday and got there on a Thursday afternoon. And although the race was on Sunday, my daughter was kind of sick, and I kind of got sick also. Maybe it was the flight, maybe it was just preparing for the race. Who knows? The weather here in New York was wild, right? We were training in 20-degree weather for the longest time. So I had some kind of a sinus thing that was going on for the entire flight, and Friday and Saturday, and even on Sunday. And you can even hear in my voice now, I still don't sound like my normal self, although I feel like I'm back to normal. But I was definitely out of it for the first couple of days, just getting there. Even felt some tremors in Tokyo. We were walking in the mall and walking around. So it was definitely an experience. The first tip I will share for those who are thinking about going to Tokyo or doing the Tokyo Marathon is to get there as early as possible. I didn't really feel acclimated to the Tokyo time, to being there and really being in there. I mean, my sickness could have been a part of it as well, but I think you need at least 4 or 5 days just to get used to being there. I really felt like after Sunday, I was pretty much good. But then that again was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You say Monday, that's 5 days. to really get just being used to being there, being used to being in that time zone, being used to being acclimated to the weather. Even the weather there, which was in its 60s and 70s while we were there, dropped to 20s and 30s the next days. So it was very, very back and forth, getting used to the experience of being in Tokyo. But I would say is you can get there as early as you can to give yourself time to really adjust, time to really get back on that system, back on that time scale, and to allow yourself to be able to get back to some kind of routine as you're prepping for the race. One of the things that I messed up on personally, I mean, getting sick, you can't help that, right? I got sick, and that was a big reason why I didn't run my optimal race. But I do think just being able to get there earlier would have maybe helped to adjust to the differences a little better. So that's my first tip for those who are trying to go to Tokyo. The race is on a Sunday. If you can get there even on a Tuesday or a Monday, or even on that Sunday, right? To really travel, do what you want to do, see your sights, go out there and see what's going on, and then use the race as your last thing and then bounce after that. We did the opposite. We actually went there, we chilled for a little bit, we ran the race, then we traveled after that. But I would, if I did it over again, I would definitely go there early, travel, see other places, Kyoto, wherever else, and then do the race and then bounce. So that's my first tip. Tip number two, Tokyo Marathon is a beautiful race. It's not as flat as they advertise it to be. There were lots of um, undulations in the roads, and I wouldn't say there were hills per se, but there were definitely a couple of different elevations that they didn't talk about that were on the course. If you're looking for that NYC excitement, if you're looking for that even Chicago, Berlin mass excitement, you're gonna find organized and very uh, formal cheering. It's probably the best way I can say it. The formalities in the culture um, in Japan are also seen when it comes to the race. And although the kids were screaming and they were really excited, most of the adults who were there were clapping very cordially. They were excited, they were cheering, but it wasn't the same crazy excitement as you have in NYC. It wasn't the same crazy excitement that you have even in Chicago or even in Berlin, right? It was a very um, cordial, organized, formal excitement. And I didn't mind it. I was fine. But if for those of you who are looking for like someone to sit there and yell your name and scream you and curse you out and say, yo, let's get you moving, you're not gonna find that in Tokyo. You're not gonna find that at all. So go there knowing that um, you're cheering for you. And although people were very nice and very cordial, you're not gonna have that same mass hysteria that you have with the other world majors around the world. It's just a kind of a place. And I think it does bode and does coincide with the culture that you have in Tokyo, Japan. The strictness, the formalities. Tokyo is a beautiful place. I mean, we did so many things while we were there. We were trying to go to Mount Fuji, but again, the weather was crazy. So we didn't get a chance to do that at all. And because we couldn't see anything. So we did a number of other things like team labs and went to Disney Sea and a couple other spots, took a couple tours, walking tours, and that was beautiful. It was beautiful. But in terms of the race itself, you know, that also went in line with the culture. Just the same people you saw in the towns and the cities were the same people you saw on the road. And again, if you're looking for that overwhelming amount of energy you get from most of these four majors, Tokyo just is not that. But all in all, it was a beautiful race, a beautiful city. Um, my third tip or my third thing to talk about is the water stations. I was in an earlier heat, so we had access to water and the Pocari, which is the hydration they had out there, a special drink that they have. You're not allowed to actually bring any hydration on the course. One of the only races I've actually run where you can't bring your own hydration. And I trained with my own hydration. I trained with my own LMNT. I trained with my own whatever, right? So I knew that my body was used to taking water every mile. Um, I was not able to do that for this race. I had to rely on their water stations wherever they were. Some were a mile away, some were 2 miles away. And again, getting used to their water and their Pocari, which is a different hydration. It's not Gatorade. It's their own hydration drink. Getting used to those things earlier, we bought some earlier. So if you want to buy some in advance, see if you like it, that's a great thing to do as well. I was used to it because I tried it, I liked it. But I think just not being able to have water when I wanted it, right? I take water every mile. Not being able to have water every single mile that I wanted um, affected me in different ways here in the race. I think not able to, for other runners who came after me, and I heard many runners who they ran out of water. They were going to water stations. If you were further down in the corrals and the K's and L's, they ran out of water at the water stations. Now, this is a race that was unexpectedly hotter than it should have been. Most marathons, you want to run 45 degrees, 40 degrees, low 50 degrees is great. This race was 67 degrees. And we came from New York training in 15, 20-degree weather. So a number of people did not finish the race. I saw a post saying that of the 40,000 people who ran the race, 10,000 people did not complete the race for a number of reasons, whether it was cramping, whether it was hydration, whether it was just time constraints, because there are time constraints where they will court you off if you have not crossed certain checkpoints during the race. That's how crazy the Tokyo Marathon is. But my whole team did well. We all crossed the checkpoints in enough time, but not having the hydration was interesting. Some of my teammates had to go and actually purchase water while on the course. They left the course to go to many stores. And Tokyo is beautiful because any store you go to, Family Marts, whatever else, they have everything. They have everything from water and whatever else to food, and not just food, good food. I mean, like chicken nuggets and whatever else, looking real nice in those little concession stands. So, but the fact that that was even an option, or that had to be an option, is kind of crazy. You can't tell runners not to bring hydration, that they can't bring water in, and then you run out of water on the course. And I felt bad because I was in most of the earlier heats, so it wasn't my experience. But for those who were in later corrals who had to experience that again in 67-degree heat, unfair, unacceptable. So prepare yourself for that, for hydration to not be always um, provided when it needs to be provided, and try to have some kind of a backup plan, whether someone's going to be on the course with you, being able to give you water at certain times, or being able to say, look, let me just go off track for a second, grab some water, and then keep going. Whatever it takes to get you through this thing. But the Tokyo rules were a little stringent. And I think that's one of the things that makes people not perform as best as they can on this course, because it's not your typical race. It's almost like a Spartan race, to be honest. If you've never done a Spartan race before, it's again obstacles. And this felt like more of an obstacle race as opposed to like a road race. There were so many challenges, even going to the bathrooms, point number 4. Um, I've run so many races where there are porta potties everywhere, and there's no issue going to porta potty except for lines, right? Lines are a thing. And depending on the people in the race, you have to wait a couple seconds just to get to the bathroom for the lines. But the bathrooms are all located pretty much close to the course. There are various spots in this race where the bathrooms, porta potties, and again, the porta potties in Tokyo, some didn't have doors. They just have open spaces. So you walk in, you do your thing, and you bounce out. Which is whatever. I had no problem with that. But some of them are located 200 meters, 300 meters, 400 meters away from the course. I went to the bathroom twice. The first time I went, I saw the bathroom from the race. I jetted off and I went. It was quick. I was probably in and out in about a minute. The second time I had to go, and I was mad I had to go the second time because it was like at mile 7, but I had to go. And the sign said literally 300 meters. And I had to run down, make a right, down, make a left. And I ran to this porta potty and I went to the bathroom and I had to run back. Again, these are all extra steps, extra distance that's not included in the run. And just from a mental standpoint, it throws you off because all of a sudden you're in this thing and the people around you, or you're in your time zone and you're following the pacers or whatever else. And then the bathroom breaks happen. And literally, as you get back on the course, it's almost like you're starting the course from the beginning again because you're trying to figure out, okay, where am I? What's going on? And so much time was wasted, so much mental prep was wasted just going to the bathroom. And that's just my experience in some of the earlier corrals. So I'm just guessing for some of those people who were in the later corrals where there were more people going to the bathrooms that more frequently, it could have even been crazier because now you're talking about adding lines to that, right? You have lines of people going to these bathrooms that are 200 meters off course. Not ideal, not ideal. And that's why I said this was really more of a Spartan race, like a road obstacle race, as opposed to really like a marathon. It felt more like a challenge, right? Just trying to get through all the things, getting over the jet lag, getting used to the weather conditions, uh, getting used to now training without and running without the water that you trained with, and trying to guess when there could be water stations out there, and then the bathrooms, and there's just like so many factors that were put into place. It really just threw me off. And for me, with all of the conditions that I already had going on with my being sick and um, being jet lagged, and then um, not moving as much as I probably should have as we got there. Just really well, I did our shakeout run the day before, but we didn't have our usual pasta dinner. There weren't a lot of pasta options in the area, and we should have probably found a pasta place to eat at. Instead, we ate at a Japanese restaurant, and I had whatever noodles they had there, but our traditional pasta dinner was not had. So there were just a number of things that just did not go as planned. I did have breakfast that morning, and I felt very good. I felt actually really good for about 16 miles. And at mile 16, 17 or so, I had a little cramp in my right hamstring. And as some of you may know, I had two knee surgeries back in the day. So my knees are not the best. My right knee is not the best in general. And I overcompensate sometimes in these races. And I lack extension sometimes, and even flexion sometimes as I'm running. But that hamstring works a lot. And usually around mile 22 it kicks in, but it kicked in early this time, mile 16. And I was like, oh no, please, no, please, no. And once that started, everything just kind of just went downhill. From the cramping in the hamstring to the hydration issues kicking in to my sickness kind of kicking in. And I almost got to a point where literally I did not think I could go any faster than I was going. I walked, I jogged, I walked, I jogged, I ran. And even in running, I felt like I was going so slow. I just couldn't push. I couldn't move any faster. My body was not letting me move any faster. And I finished in about 4:15, 4:16. My best again is 3:42. So it'd be a half an hour off with so many factors in play. I was disappointed at first. I was like, oh, this is crazy. Because I trained so hard for this thing. As you know, I was documenting my running from December, doing all the training and read some marathon books on um, increasing my mileage. And I ran the most number of miles I've ever run in my entire life, from doing an ultra marathon in January um, or February to doing so many more things, preparing for this thing, four 20-mile runs. And I was ready. And I even feel, I mean, even now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, did it even really happen? Like I felt like I did it and it felt like it was fine. But it felt more like an obstacle course to me. It felt more like a training run to me. It didn't feel like a marathon because I still feel like, oh man, I'm all trained up, and didn't run their ideal race because there was so many things that went awry. But if this were me 4 years ago, I would have been sitting here, head down, upset, angry. I was so blessed. My daughter's birthday that day, and we celebrated her that night and the whole week, really. And was more relieved that the race was over after it was done because I had a chance to actually rest and relax. And I look at the challenges that I faced during that race and all the different things I had to go through, and even my teammates and others who went through very similar things. Some people share their stories of, how they weren't feeling well. They got food poisoning here and whatever else, and they finished, even in the heat. But it made me just really remember the marathon owes you nothing. You can train for anything as hard as you want to train for it, right? You can go out there and you can put the work in and you can do all the things, check off the boxes, and it's great. But when it comes down to it, there are just some days that are going to be great days and some days that are going to be subpar days. But all in all, the medal is still here. The medal is still won. And I learned so much about myself in the process. I learned that I have a spirit of not giving up. I already knew this, but it was well enhanced on this day. Um, it was a big reminder that when obstacles do come, we don't give up. And it was a reminder to me that, again, when pain kicks in, pain is temporary and pride is forever. And finishing this, my ninth marathon, my fifth major, is that example of ultimate pride that no matter what goes down, you can be more today in any single obstacle that goes down. It is what it is. And the beautiful thing is, I go back to work tomorrow, I go back to family. Um, I check off this last box of number 5 for the Avid 6. And with now one more race to go, I look forward to completing this thing and being done with marathon running. And no one believes me. I've been telling my wife and everybody else this for a long time, but that would be my final marathon, the Boston Marathon. However I get in, whenever I get in, that will be my final race. I'm signed up for the City Marathon in August. But I just don't know with the jet lag and everything else. And um, it's a lot to go out there to just run a race. Um, unless you're gonna be out there, for more time doing things like traveling or whatever else. So I'm on the fence for Sydney. I'm definitely am. I'm on the fence, so we'll see how that goes. But Boston is definitely the final piece of this puzzle. And once that's done, I will be finding something else that will preoccupy my time. That's be a little less stressful, a little less time consuming, but still challenging because I think there is a certain beauty in having a marathon to train for, having something that that you're dedicating 3 months of your life towards being better at. And the crazy thing is, once that thing is done, it's like, all right, well, what now? Like, well, what do you do now? Um, but that's the beauty of life, right? We do all these things for a reason, for a season. That thing comes, it goes, and then it's done. And then you find more stuff to do. So the same way I wrote this book, Project More, to have people go out there and have more things to focus on and to aspire towards, the marathon has been that same thing. And again, I enjoyed the Tokyo experience. It was definitely eye-opening. I learned a lot about myself and even my wife and our whole Spartan Sunday team by going there and doing it. But I think the best race for me still was Berlin. Full experience, going there, traveling there, the city, everything just was a perfect race, a perfect experience for me. So, um, if you are planning on doing Tokyo next year, take heed to the words I talked about the hydration, about getting there early, about the bathrooms, um, about the food, right? About the things that you can do to avoid getting sick. Um, all those things will make a difference so you can have a better race day, hopefully better than I did, but still victorious nonetheless. So I look forward to sharing more running tips with you guys as the year goes on. We're going to be doing a number of things this year, bringing on, again, some great guests to highlight some of the great things that we do in health and fitness and also in the world of wellness and physical therapy and medicine, all things combined. So looking forward to that. But I just wanted to just give you guys a little taste of my experience in Tokyo and let you know that I had a great time. Um, and that I'm happy to be back and I'm happy that this race is over. So, as our training continues, as my training continues, I'll keep you posted on the next thing. Everyone's saying, well, what's the next thing? Right now, there is no next thing. Besides getting into Boston and possibly running Sydney in the summertime, there's no next thing right now that's planned. But I will keep training. I will keep pushing. I will keep um, the fitness that I have right now because I'm in great shape and I can go run a marathon tomorrow if I wanted to, right? So I want to maintain that as much as I can because you already know if you don't use it, you will lose it. So I'll keep working on my speed work with bedside flyers. I'll keep working on my form and even this right knee that I have to just get back to a functional place on my own, maybe do my own therapy, which I should be doing myself. But we're focusing on that as we go forward into the rest of this spring and summertime. So that's my goal. And I will continue to share all the tips I can in terms of health and fitness with you guys as well. If you go on my website right now, BeMoreToday.com, you have my YouTube page. I have a number of videos on there that correspond with Project More. Project More has basically about 100 videos with 100 workouts. And I put the videos for the workouts on my Be More Today YouTube page. So if you are looking for things to do, you're kind of like me, you're in this in-between zone where you don't have anything you're training for, but you do want to go out there and be more mobile, be more functional, do some kind of fitness stuff. Again, check out my book, BeMoreToday.com, and follow the workouts we have in there. Again, there are workouts for every single day for 40 days straight, enough to keep you moving and to inspire you to be the best project that you will ever work on. So I challenge you to do that. I encourage you to do that. And as I look towards my 44th birthday, coming now on March 23rd, I'll be doing my own steps of greatness, my own starts and stops and goals for this year as I look to do even more and to be even more alive in 2025. So thanks, folks, for listening. As always, our next show will be another show on athletic training as we continue to celebrate Athletic Training Month. So check in next week for that. But in the meantime, I hope you all are doing well, and I will be giving you some more tips for runners and for fitness and for physical therapy, probably twice a month. I'll be having guests on the show twice a month, and then give you some tips on my own twice a month as we continue to push forward in this new year, 2025. Until then, keep pushing, keep grinding, keep moving, keep doing. Cheers from Tokyo. Here back now in Bed-Stuy, but grateful to be back and excited to continue to be the best project that I ever work on, which is me trying to be more today. I wish you guys the best for this week. Go out there and kill it. Let's be great. Let's be bold. Let's be beautiful. And I will see you next time. Peace.